For more on what to make of the US Central Bank's latest policy statement, the chief executive of TradingPoint.com, Peter McGuire, joins us now from Sydney. Peter, thanks for your time today. Firstly, what's your big takeaway from that press conference by Jerome Powell?
Well, good morning. I think a couple of things. First off, the cold water aspect as far as on March. So we're not going to see, well, the market believes you won't see any rate cuts then, and probably pushing it out to mid-year. That seems to be when we'll see the first question as far as rate cut. And secondly, how many do we see over the rest of 24?
Yeah, and what comes next then for the US economy with the presidential election coming up in November?
Well, we're 9 months out. We're looking at, first off, non-farm payrolls, naturally, as far as employment. That's the first sector, and they come out tomorrow night. And that will be a backward-looking metric to see how we performed in the middle of December to middle of January, if there's any cooling off as far as employment. And then the next part, of course, is keeping a very close eye on inflation over the months ahead, which takes us on board to how the Fed sees movement as far as rate policy.
Now, the Fed always faces criticism, either moving too fast or too slow to react to things. What's your take with how it's taking things now, saying that a cut in March is unlikely?
Well, I think that the market was ahead of itself, but there's no doubting that. And that was the huge boom that we saw as far as equity markets going October, November, December. It was a fear of missing out rally because everyone had baked in a March cut. Now that's been pushed out a couple of months. So in turn, I think it's just a little bit of a wake-up call for traders. We saw that sell-off overnight with US equities, and it'll be interesting how the rest of the week trades, and of course into next week.
How do you see that going then with this response to what we've seen so far with the immediate response to this statement? So what do you think will happen in the week into next week?
I wouldn't be surprised a little bit further sell-off. I think it'll bounce. It'll be a little bit of a rally, and naturally it'll find support. So there could be a little bit further softness. And the Nasdaq was well down, and we're looking at the big stocks as far as Alphabet was down 7%. So all of those factors come into play as far as market confidence leading into a rate cut decision by the Fed.
Many thanks for your time today, Peter. Peter McGuire, Chief Executive at TradingPoint.com.